That night, when my wife Natalie lifted her glass, I had no clue the words she was about to speak would forever change how I saw her and myself. The room hummed with laughter, clinking glasses, and the soft strains of background music. It was her company's annual celebration, and she had just been honored for outstanding team leadership. I felt genuine pride. She had earned it, every ounce of it. As the evening unfolded, though, a small unease crept in. The way she looked at me when her colleagues cracked little jokes. The way my words seemed to vanish in the air around her. I told myself I was overthinking, or maybe just exhausted. But then the toast began. Natalie rose, radiant and self-assured, as her co-workers cheered her on. "First of all," she began, smiling, "I want to thank my team for putting up with me this year. I couldn't have done it without you." Applause erupted. I clapped too, smiling genuinely. Then she turned toward me. "And of course, I have to thank my husband, Mark, for always supporting me in his own way." The tone in her voice drew laughter. She paused, letting it sink in. "He's the kind of guy who burns toast, forgets anniversaries, and once thought a slow cooker was a rice steamer." The laughter grew louder. I felt my cheeks warm, but I forced a polite smile. She wasn't finished. "But hey," she added, raising her glass, "at least he's consistent, always cheering me on from the couch with a bag of chips." To my loving husband, who proves that behind every successful woman is a man who's at least trying not to mess things up too much. The room roared. I didn't. For a heartbeat, all I could hear was laughter directed at me. Her friends, her co-workers, strangers I'd just met. A few sympathetic glances reached me, but most were amusement. Natalie looked pleased, as if she'd just delivered the punchline of the year. I didn't shout. I didn't storm out. I simply lifted my glass and said quietly, "Well done, Nat." That was quite the toast. She flashed a playful grin and returned to her seat, clearly satisfied. The evening continued, but something inside me had shifted. I had been there through her long nights, her struggles, her setbacks. I'd cooked when she was too tired, stayed up proofreading her presentations, even sold my car to help launch one of her side projects. And now, in her success story, I was a punchline. As the night wound down, guests mingled, chatted, and posed for photos. Her boss, Mr. Langford, a kind older man, approached me. "You must be proud of her," he said. "I am." I nodded. He smiled warmly. It's rare these days to see a husband support his wife so selflessly. "She's lucky." Something in his words struck me. I didn't need to defend myself. The truth was already visible to those who cared to notice. Still, I felt compelled to speak. When the MC asked if anyone wanted to make a brief toast before dessert, I rose. The room quieted, and Natalie's gaze lifted, slightly surprised. "I'd like to say a few words." I began calmly. "To my wife, who I am endlessly proud of, you achieved something remarkable, and you deserve every bit of recognition tonight." She smiled, expecting me to gloss over the earlier joke, but I continued. "I also want to thank everyone here for reminding me that success is never truly earned alone. It's built on love, patience, and sometimes sacrifice, often by those working quietly behind the scenes. I may not have fancy awards or titles, but I do have one thing I take pride in. I've never mocked the person I love to make myself feel bigger." The room fell silent. You could hear a spoon clink somewhere in the back. I took a polite sip and sat down. Natalie's expression froze. A faint blush crept up her neck. A few co-workers avoided her eyes. Mr. Langford gave me a small nod of respect. The rest of the evening passed quietly. When we got home, she stayed silent for a long moment. Then she whispered, "I didn't mean to embarrass you." "I know," I replied softly. "But you did." Tears welled in her eyes. I thought I was being funny. "Funny is fine," I said gently, "as long as it's not at the expense of someone who loves you." She nodded slowly, the weight of her mistake sinking in. What she thought was harmless had cost her something far more valuable than a laugh. Weeks later, at her next event, she gave another speech. This time, she began with, "And to my husband, who taught me that true partnership means respect, even when no one is watching." That night, She didn't just earn applause from coworkers. She earned back my heart. Sometimes the most powerful lessons in respect aren't taught with anger. They're taught with calm, unwavering truth at the right moment.